switch-ups.
Okay, Maggie, look. Let me break it down to you how it's gonna happen. They're gonna come through that door and be good cop, bad cop. Don't fall for that, all right?
She did it! She did it! She's the one you want!
Is this nigga serious?
Now let's be honest, watching your day one homie switch up on you has to be one of the worst experiences a man's ever gonna go through. Watching someone that you think is super close to you and someone that you love just switch up on you over some money or some girls is gonna be the most pain a nigga's ever gonna go through. Now after my many years of watching anime and TV shows, I think I found some of the most diabolical switch ups in fiction. And to start this off light, we're gonna start off with Omni-Man switching up on the entire Invincible universe. So when my homie put me onto Invincible back in 2021, I thought this show was just a Justice League knockoff, because I'm gonna be honest, the show started off with the Guardians of the Globe, which are clearly knockoff Justice League characters, and Omni-Man, which is clearly a knockoff Superman. So as I'm watching this show, in the back of my mind I'm thinking, there's no way in hell I'm gonna continue this show because it's literally just a knockoff Justice League. I'll rather watch the original. Until the last 5 minutes of the first episode came on and I saw one of the most diabolical switch ups in fiction. So this nigga Omni-Man pulls up on the Guardians of the Globe and literally slimes them out all within 5 minutes. And I know we didn't know the Guardians of the Globe like that, but watching my nigga Red Rush just get his head caved in did something to me, because I always loved speedsters growing up, and watching a speedster just completely get mutilated by a nigga like Omni-Man really hurt. We sat there and watched this nigga punches get slower and slower as Omni-Man is slowly caving his head in, and that's when I realized that this nigga Omni-Man ain't shit, because he really switched up on the niggas he was fighting side by side with damn near every day because he felt like he had to. This nigga Omni-Man really switched up because he felt like he had no other choice. This is one of the most diabolical switch ups in fiction. Now for this next switch up, we're gonna get a little bit serious. We're gonna be talking about Franklin's mom switching up on him at the end of Snowfall. Now for anyone who hasn't watched Snowfall, let me give you a quick rundown of what the show is about. The show is about a kid named Franklin Saint who becomes a drug dealer in the 80s selling crack, and towards the end of Snowfall, he becomes a kingpin. And he has all this money and he's on top of the world until a CIA agent takes all of his money and keeps it for himself. So obviously this boy Franklin pushes up on him, tortures him, makes him give him back the money, and he finally caves in and agrees. He said, I'm gonna give you back the money. And right before he's about to transfer the money to Franklin's account, Franklin's mom ups the pole and slams him out right then and there in broad daylight. And to make this even worse, she gets arrested right away. So not only did Franklin lose all of his money, but he also lost his mom, his only family that he had. And the audacity that the mom had, she could have waited 5 more seconds and this nigga Franklin would have finally been up again. But she had no patience and she felt like this shit was wrong, so she killed him right then and there in broad daylight, his own mother. And Franklin at that time wasn't even mad at her. He pulls up on her while she's in jail and says, Mom, I have nothing left. I have no money. Can I please sell your house so I can at least get some money? And the mom had the audacity to sit on the phone staring at this nigga Franklin, not saying shit. And this nigga Franklin obviously completely crashes out, says, I did everything for you. I gave you all this money. I gave you a good life, and you're not gonna help me out when I'm down and out? You really gonna do this to me? You're the reason why I'm in this position. And the mom is still sitting there not saying shit to him. And that had to have been one of the most diabolical switch ups, because in the previous season she's living it up, enjoying Franklin's money, helping him out selling all these drugs, but towards the end of this season she's sitting here like, nah, this shit wrong, you can't do this no more. So she decides to throw his whole entire operation away. Like literally, if you were not wanting to be involved with this drug money, you could have just stepped away, but you had to ruin a young man's life. He could have been up, living up, enjoying all this money that he made, but because his own mother switched up on him, that's the reason why he can't be up again. This really shows you that you can't mix family and business together, because you don't know what's gonna happen. They might switch up on you one day and out. This is one of the worst switch ups in fiction, if not the worst switch up in fiction, because I still think about this to this day. The next switch up we got is Reiner and Bertolt switching up on Eren. Now, if you watched Attack on Titan, you know how crazy this switch up is, because this was one of the most unexpected switch ups I've ever seen. Because usually when a switch up is happening, you could feel it. You could sense that something's gonna happen, that there's gonna be some type of crazy switch up happening here. But no, the Reiner and Bertolt switch up was so random, it caught me so off guard, because this shit started off so regular. The scouts were on top of the wall, and Reiner and Bertolt just call this nigga Eren over, and they're just having a regular ass conversation with him. So I'm thinking nothing much of it, until until this nigga Reiner says, I'm the Armor Titan and Bertolt is the Colossal Titan. And that's when my jaw completely fell on the floor, because that shit completely shocked me. And you just casually told this nigga Eren that shit like he's gonna be okay with it, like you're not the whole reason that this nigga hates Titans, like you're not the whole reason that this nigga lost his entire family. This nigga Eren obviously is not gonna take that shit well, and he completely crashes out. And this nigga Reiner had the audacity just to sit there and say that shit to Eren like he's not gonna flip out on you. This nigga Bertolt was supposed to be my guy. He was the shy, sensitive guy. I never expected him to do something like that. So that shit really hurt me. Reiner, oh my god, you was my guy. I literally loved you. So when I heard you say you were the Armor Titan, I could never forgive you. Even in season 4, they tried to give this nigga Reiner some type of redemption arc, but it's still fuck him, because he really did this heinous shit to Eren. He really switched up on him when we thought he was his friend. We really let this nigga in, live with us, eat with us. He saw our hardships, he saw all the pain we went through, and this nigga still had the audacity to sit here and tell Eren to his face that he's the Armor Titan, like Eren won't completely flip his shit on you. And that's exactly what he did. He completely flipped his shit and went off on him. Now, I love Reiner and Bertolt, and I love Attack on Titan, but that switch up really hurt a nigga. That was like experiencing my first heartbreak all over again. I was 14 years old, sitting on the couch watching this shit, and it felt like I went through my first heartbreak, because that's how heartbreaking this shit was. It felt like my own friends done switched up on me. Now, for this last switch up, it's probably the most heartbreaking switch up I'm gonna talk about. It's when that boy Sungwoo switched up on Ali in Squid Game Season 1. Now, this was probably the most heartbreaking switch up I'd ever seen, because this nigga Ali was really sweet. He really sat here and believed every single lie Sangwoo was telling him right to his face. I already knew this nigga Ali was cooked from off the rip, because this nigga Indian, he ain't never grew up playing these Korean games. So when this nigga pulled up, Sangwoo told him, yo, I'ma find out a way we can both win. Just trust me. Of course, this nigga Ali just trusted him right away, but this nigga Sangwoo just completely slimed him out. He took all of his marbles and replaced Ali's marbles with pebbles. And this nigga Ali had to sit there, look at his bag, take all those pebbles out, and sit there and realize he got fucked over. Now, this was the most heartbreaking thing to ever happen, because this nigga Ali was really sweet. He ain't never did nothing wrong to anyone in the games. He just tried to pass through, go throughout his time, get his money so he could live a normal life. But this nigga Sungwoo, this conniving nigga, pulls up on him and tricks him into taking all of his marbles and winning the game. And this nigga had no pain in his heart when he did it. He tried to act like he gave a fuck, but he couldn't even have the audacity to tell Ali that he did him dirty like that. He just walked away like nothing happened. And this nigga Ali had to get packed up right then and there. That was the most devastating shit I'd ever seen in a minute, and I still think about my nigga Ali. I pray I never go through a switch up, because that just seems like one of the worst pains you could ever go through, and I hope y'all never go through a switch up either. But if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below what you think the greatest switch up in fiction is. But other than that, it's your boy Midnight, and I'm out. Peace out.